Hey, Mariana. Is your the beginning part's nerve-wracking, just waiting for people to come on. I don't, how are you guys today? I should I would just hang out a little bit and let some people join. Wait till 12 o'clock. I know we had the national wake up call, so we're getting all kinds of motivation today. Glad you can't hear my kids. Oh, that's funny. There's no school here today. Hi, Jenny. Cooking my egg quiche now. That's awesome. Oh, love it. Love that you're thinking about retirement. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited that everyone, that you guys have logged on and that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone one more time. Thanks to Jenny. We'll wait for a few more people to join and then I'll get started. Oh, Erica's here. Right. I don't even know what time it is because you can't see it on your phone when you're on live. Let me check. All right, I'll give it a few more minutes. Oh, Marianne joined. Hi, Kelly. Okay, 12:01. Jenny, thanks for the update. All right, Melba, thank you. All right, so I guess that I'll go ahead and get started. I have to be honest and say that this is really intimidating to be on this call with such great leaders that have spoke in the weeks before us and sharing their stories and tips on how to grow the business. So when Jenny asked me to speak because I advanced to team leader last week, I was like, oh my gosh. I got really nervous because I said, what am I going to tell everyone that they don't already know? And so I thought about it for all weekend. All weekend I've been listening to my personal development and John Maxwell, and I had all these ideas of leadership that I was going to share with everyone. And then church yesterday at Sunday, the sermon was about your passion and people in the Bible that did those crazy things like Noah building the ark and Daniel and slingshot killing the giant. And he talked about how people have crazy ideas are the ones that are called by God. And I thought that related to us for a little bit because everyone thinks, what are we doing as coaches? And is that crazy? So I was like, oh, that's what I'm going to talk about today. But after lots of talks with Jenny, I decided to share my story because what I've gotten from coaching is personal growth, hands down, growth as a person that I never would have achieved through any other outlet. And so if I hadn't have shared my story, then we wouldn't have the challengers and the team that we have. If Jenny wouldn't have shared her story, I wouldn't have been attracted to her and take a chance on this opportunity. So I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about myself and how I got to this point, and then I'm going to talk about how I got to be a team leader, the steps I took. So Ingrid Houston, I have a 7-year-old daughter, Chloe, and I'll go way back to high school because I have some high school friends on here. I was a go-getter. I was on the volleyball team and I was not that talented. I was that one that they said to the starters, well, if you don't give 100%, we're going to put Ingrid in because we know she'll give you 100% of heart. And that's who I was. I wasn't the best at anything. I wasn't the smartest, but I would always give my 100% to everything and I wouldn't quit. And I was part of the student government. And I just knew with my life that I was going to do something great, like just be a leader and inspire. So that's my high school. My dad, he's from Germany, so I grew up with this huge shoes to fill. That he came to the United States when he was 18 and he didn't speak any English, and so the work ethic and then he instilled in us as kids is priceless. So I have this combination of needing to be perfect and a people pleaser and all these things that I've learned are great qualities for coaching to help others. And that's how I've decided to use this, what's in me, is how can I help others through coaching. So I married my high school sweetheart. He was a baseball player and the love of my life, and we were just checking off the boxes of life and got married and got the house and all of those fun things that we do and enjoying life, and got pregnant. And then at 8 months old, or 8 months pregnant, I found out that he was having an affair. And the irony, it'll come back later in the story, is that we were in Nashville, Tennessee. He was playing baseball there, and my whole world crashed. I had always had this perfect little box that I lived in, and I never had any problems as far as major crises in my life. And that was my first, what am I going to do moment? Like, what are you going to do? And I decided to keep it a secret. I didn't tell a soul. I said, this is going to be that one thing in our marriage that we're going to get through, and we're going to be stronger because of it, and we are going to have this beautiful baby, and this is just going to be our hardship. And I heard like people's marriages, they got stronger, they were better. So I talked to the pastor that married us, and we went to counseling, and I went back to Melbourne from Nashville to have Chloe, and thought that everything was good, that we had gotten through this hard time in our marriage. And little did I know that it hadn't stopped. The affair hadn't stopped, and he was more deceitful and had a second cell phone, and he had all these ways to keep this affair a secret. And all these things are important for you to know about me, because it takes me to the place of where coaching entered my life, because I was so broken and devastated. He crushed my dreams. He crushed that leader that was inside me. He crushed that go-getter, my spirit. Like, I was like, what was wrong with me? The one person that I picked, to spend the rest of my life with left. So Chloe was 6 weeks old and he left, and I didn't have, my job was just part-time, and how am I going to support this baby, this baby that we wanted to have together? Now all of a sudden I was a single parent, and I was angry. I was angry that he did this to me, and he made these choices, because up until this point I'd been so in control in my life. We work hard and we achieve success because of our work ethic, and now all of a sudden someone had this power over me to change my life circumstance. So I had to do the worst thing on that day when he left, and she was 6 weeks old. That father that I told you about at the beginning, I had to call up my parents because they had no idea. No one did. I mean, we had this perfect little image, and ask them for help. I had to tell my dad that my husband had left, and that I needed my parents to come help me because I had a 6-week-old baby. And so at that moment, I had a choice, and I kept telling my mom that there was going to be something good that came out of this situation. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew that there would be something good. And the first thing that was good is that I found a church and I started going to church. And every week the message, whether it was on forgiveness or hardship or circumstances, all of those things that fueled me to get through another week, to take care of Chloe, to just keep going, because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had put all my eggs in his basket. He was a baseball player. We were pursuing his dream, and I was following that. I didn't have any dreams of my own, and that was part of the problem. So my parents helped me out, and they would help me raise Chloe as I traveled. I am a travel director, and I go on these fabulous trips that we plan events, and we go all around the world, and it's my other life. And at that time, when Chloe was so young and a baby, it became my escape. So as much as I wanted to be home with her and be the stay-at-home mom, I would escape on these week events in wherever, New Orleans or Monaco or Italy. And I had this different life, but it was a conflict in me because I wanted to be home. So this different life, we would eat and drink and have long hours, but there was this excitement about it. But it was an internal struggle, because at the end of every trip, I would feel exhausted and drained and knew that I couldn't keep this up. And so that's when I remember I was on a program in Costa Rica after 2 weeks, and I emailed my coach, Jenny, and said, I have to do something. I have to do something when I get home, because this eating and partying on the road and then coming back and starving myself, this life of balance, it was taking a toll on me mentally and physically. And what attracted to me about Jenny is I saw her story and how she was in shape, and I knew her from college, and how she had a good time, and she just looked like she had this life of balance. So if she wouldn't have shared her story, I wouldn't have seen something in it that gave me hope. So I reached out to her and I said I have to have something waiting for me when I got home, because I wanted to make a change, and that change was the 21-day fix. So for those 21 days, I committed to putting myself first, because I've always put my job first, or my daughter first, or anything else. And so I put myself first for those 21 days, and it changed my life. All of a sudden, I wasn't broken and weak anymore. I committed to a program, and I was stronger, and I had this rebirth of me, that I actually did something. I accomplished it. I didn't quit. I wasn't weak. I wasn't all of these negative things that I was telling myself in my head because of my divorce and my husband leaving were changed from a simple program. And that's the first message I want to get across to us today, is that as coaches, we don't sell fitness programs. That's not what we do. We share success stories, because I think that the abs and the shredded arms or whatever are a secondary result to the life-changing confidence and the mental health and the strength that we get, and the empowerment, especially for women. And so when it's these last 2 weeks of the month, and we're worried about Success Club, or we're worried about meeting our goals, and all we want to do is get that sale, you have to remember that these people need us as coaches. They need us to know that their journey is important, and whatever they're dealing with right then in their life it isn't where they have to be. We have to show them there's hope and there's something different. And just by doing a little 21-day program, you're not just going to feel better in your clothes. You're going to be empowered. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be, this is going to ripple into your family and your kids and your husband and all these things. So that's the first thing. We can never forget as coaches that that's what we do, because we don't sell products. We share successes. And if you're not sharing more than your physical transformation, you're doing a disservice to people on your social media outlets, because they need to see the other things that come along with the abs and the guns and the smaller clothes and the bikinis. And that's what's important. And you need to share. Like, I get messages from couples that are going different directions because one's taking the kid to football and the other one's taking her to cheerleading, but they're brought together by a program, and now all of a sudden they have a goal and they're working together and they're meal prepping on Sunday and they're spending time with each other. And you need to share that. Or share about the mom who's struggling with the postpartum depression, or someone who's had a loss in their life. Like, these programs, they give people something to distract them. Sometimes when life's hard, we look at people and they're like, oh, they don't need another thing on their plate. I needed a distraction. I needed something to focus on that was my own and my own goal. And I know that each of you guys have some kind of story like that. Like, a story, it doesn't have to be something that's heartbreaking or devastating. It could be just you lost your purpose and this program gave you joy in completing a goal or finishing something. So that's the first thing, is never forget. I will never forget this feeling that I had of when I accomplished it. So when customers reach out to me and they're like, I am in the lowest place I've ever been, I can say, I know, because I've been there. But you're not only going to feel better in your skin, you're going to be super proud of yourself when you get this done, and stronger, and you're going to feel so much better after you commit to the program, because it's more than about weight loss. So then I had this great transformation mentally and physically. I lost some pounds and toned up, met my goals, and so I was like, Jenny, I need to be a coach. And I remember it specifically, she was going on spring break vacation or something, and she was probably like, oh my gosh, this is the worst timing. I'm sure I was driving Joe nuts, because I looked up, I knew about Success Starter, I knew about all these things. So you have to take ownership. You have to. She wasn't telling me about what I needed to do. I was researching and I was looking at it. I was finding out, what exactly is this coaching opportunity? I had no idea. But I told her, I was like, I want to be a coach because I want to give this feeling that I've had to others. And she helped me with that. And what she helped me do was overcome my fear of social media. Up until this point, I didn't post. I don't know, 20 friends on Facebook? Is that even possible? I really didn't even have a Facebook. I was that person who was on Facebook just to scroll and see what all you guys were doing, but I wasn't ever going to share what I was doing, because people didn't care what I was doing, I thought. So I had to get over this fear, and a lot of you guys might need to hear that as new coaches, that we have such a stigma on social media that what value are we adding? Trust me, there's someone that needs to hear your story. And I'm not saying put it all out there right away, but I'm saying you have to, little by little, share what this journey is doing for you. You have to share other parts of your life, because they don't want to hear all about Beachbody. It's the 80-20%. You need to join the groups that our awesome team puts on, like these push groups, but not just listen to what the leaders are saying. Take action and put yourself out there, and you have to get uncomfortable. And my biggest fear was I was going to share my story and it was going to be like, oh, poor Ingrid, I didn't want that. And that's why it stopped. I didn't do it for a long time because I was like, Jenny, I can't do that. I don't want to be the victim. I don't want this to be some sad thing. And it wasn't. When I shared it, it was like, I had these dreams of being a business leader, and I kind of shared on my page today in this post, and that I was going to be this corporate woman, and that got taken away from me because all of a sudden I'm a single mom and I have to take care of my daughter, and I can't be a corporate businesswoman because my struggle was I want to be home with her. I had a daughter and I want to raise her. So Beachbody, I saw the opportunity to do that. I saw the opportunity that some of these dreams that I had from before were starting to build up and burn inside me again. And it's because of Jenny sharing her story that I was attracted to it. And it's because I've slowly shared my story that I've have people on my team that lead with the same type of passion and lead with their heart and think about the challenger, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our challengers. We couldn't have a team. So we always have to remember that as coaches, is that we're here because somebody needs us and they need to hear your story. And yes, it's uncomfortable to share things on social media, but the fear of people laughing at me or asking what I was doing became less and less than the realization that there was people to help. So every time I got a message of someone saying, thanks for sharing that, that's exactly how I'm feeling, I'm uncomfortable, I'm not feeling good in my skin, that's what I needed. And so you have to start getting outside of your comfort zone, and you have to get uncomfortable if you're gonna grow in this business. So that is my second point, is to always remember that we're not selling products, we're selling success stories, and that we have all of the leadership on our team, the tools that will make us successful in the business part. We don't have to recreate the real wheel. We have Christina and Becky and Kara and Jenny and everyone who's put all these things into place for us. So we can take that and run with it. But if we stop leading with our hearts and we're just focusing on the success points, then we're going to miss the boat. Because there's people, I needed Jenny to help me through that time in my life. I needed the program. It sounds so silly, but there's people grandparents that can't play on the floor with their kids because it's hard for them to get up and down, and they need you. And there's that dad that works long hours that doesn't take care of himself anymore and is too tired when he comes home after work to throw the football. So you have to really believe that you will make a difference, and you will. So from that, the most unlikely person to become a coach became a coach, and that was me, because I had all of these fears. And it was because of the support of our team, and it was because of being involved in push groups, and it was because of getting uncomfortable that I grew. And I grew personally. I grew for me. I wasn't growing for like this business Beachbody opportunity. I needed to grow. I was a girl who didn't have my thoughts or feelings or opinions, and I was just someone who was married to someone living their dream. So what the coaching opportunity gave me was this personal growth and this opportunity to rebuild myself, and what kind of life I wanted to live with my daughter, and what kind of life I wanted to show her, and how that this thing in my life that I thought was a failure, that is so hard for me to talk about because I don't fail at things, I don't quit, but I failed at my marriage. Like, that's not a failure. I've learned something from that. I've taken so much away from that, and I've gotten stronger. And being a part of this team reminds me of being back in high school, when you're on the sports teams and we support each other, and I couldn't get through some of those hardships without the support of the team. So you need to create a team dynamic. And what I was going to say is, when you post, it's not as scary when you have the team behind you. When they're commenting and they're, giving you the shout outs or praise, you better be doing that for your team. It doesn't matter if it's your personally sponsored coach or your downline. You have to support them and remember how it felt when you came out for the first time and shared those uncomfortable things. And it's because of our team that we have something special here, and we need to recognize that, and we need to support each other. And you need to create that same team dynamic on the teams that you're building, that we lead from our heart and that we support each other. And then show up for events. That was huge for me in getting to Team Builder. The first program I did, the 21-day fix, I signed up for a coach, and then I haven't missed a Super Saturday since I started. I went by myself to my first Super Saturday in Orlando. I drove an hour, I got someone to watch Chloe for the day, and I showed up because we need to hear those success stories. We need to refill our jelly bean jar as coaches, because we give and give and give so much to so many people that you need to be filled up. You need to hear why people are coaching and the success that they're coming, because we do put in a lot of hours and we do a lot of work that doesn't get recognized. And so when you hear it, these people and the success they had and why they're doing it, it'll keep you going. So you have to show up for those events, including Summit. I went to Summit. It was in July, and it was my first summit, and I earned a ticket to go, so I knew I wanted to go. But my conflict was I had just been in Prague for 3 weeks working. I was home for 1 week, and then it was Chloe's birthday over Summit. That was a huge choice for me to make, but I knew how important it was for me to be there in Nashville and to be with my team. And so when you say that there's excuses, there can't be excuses if you want to grow your business. You have to show up. I felt guilty and awful, and on top of that, I told you guys at the beginning of the story, Nashville was my Achilles heel. Nashville is where my world fell apart. I didn't want to go back to Nashville. I could have never gone to Nashville again for my whole life and been fine. But it's in that moment that I went and I faced my fears, and I faced the city that brought me so much pain. And here I was walking on the field in Titan Stadium as a 2-star diamond coach, being recognized for my hard work all of a sudden, for my dreams, not sitting in the stands cheering on somebody else's dreams, because that's what I did 7 years before that. And so you have to show up. You have to show up for those events. You have to show up when it's uncomfortable. You have to show up at the events when it's inconvenient, because the growth that you're going to get from being around your team and being around other people that have the same passion that we do, it's irreplaceable. You have to do that. And then so I've talked about how important it is to remember the challenger in this. I've talked about how important it is to be a part of your team and lead your team and to show up for the events. And so let's see, the final thing I kind of wanted to talk about is a success partner, because I feel like that has been one of the reasons why I have continued coaching, because we all know that there's ups and downs of coaching. And if you don't have someone who's your ride or die partner that is going to let you vent when you've had a hard day, or when you've been forming with that person forever and then all of a sudden they buy it from somebody else, or when you have that moment where you think you were going to hit that goal and that doesn't happen, then it's going to be so hard. And so I have to thank my success partner, Allison, because at times I am ungrateful for the success that I've had in this business because I see her work so hard, and I know what her dreams are, and I know what her goals are, and I can't wait to celebrate with her that day she doesn't have to drop Caroline off at daycare anymore because she doesn't have to go to teaching. Like, her why is my why. Why she coaches is why I coach. Jenny making it to elite last year is why I made diamond. Like, I want to show up for a team because they show up for me, and that's what we have on this team. And I want you to have that in a success partner. And if you don't have a success partner, we need to talk and get you one, and find someone who's at your level and going to go at the pace that you're going to go at. Because now I coach because I have people that have their own dreams, and I want to help them meet their dreams. And whether it's their child that they need to put in a private school because they need to fund that, and that's why they're coaching, or if they have someone who, or their husband works so hard every day and she doesn't want him to be away from the kids, and she wants to help him, and she wants to buy their own house, and she wants to help the mom, her mom, like have her own place. Like, these people's dreams are why I coach. And I feel like that's the message that's been sent down from our team, is that we support each other. We are there for each other. We support their goals, and when we help them reach their goals, the personal satisfaction and growth that we get is immeasurable. So as a coach, there's so much more we get from coaching than just the paycheck. And none of this would have happened if it wouldn't have started with a story and sharing on social media, and Jenny sharing her story, and me sharing my story, and getting uncomfortable, and putting yourself in those situations where it's a little scary to put yourself out there. But there's nothing that makes me happier than when I get a message from that challenger that's like, I'm ready. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to start the program. After talking to them with months, it's like, yes, because what they're going to experience is the same thing that I experienced. That strong. Then you're going to be confident, and you're going to be this new person. We're giving people a gift through this coaching opportunity, and we have to remember that's our gift. So I don't have any fancy spreadsheets or any magic words of how here to become a team builder and this is what you do. But I can sum it up by saying you lead with your heart always. You never forget the challenger, because that's why we're here. You support your team, whether they're your upline and they're reaching their goals, or your downline. And I'm talking like 5 levels down. When I went to Super Saturday in Miami, which is intimidating all you Miami girls to go and show up and be a part of the team, but you welcome me in, and you recognize me from Facebook, and oh, I know you, and you feel like you're a part of the family. That's what you need to be for people below you. So you need to be that face that we had when Christina met me, and I was like, oh, why does she even care about me? You know, it's just this feeling of family, and it can't stop with us. It has to keep going down different levels, and by supporting each other, that's how it'll happen. So finally, I'll end by saying I just challenge you this week at some point to share your story. Not necessarily your transformation story, but share what Beachbody coaching has done for you mentally, or how strong you've gotten, or what you've overcome in your life by completing a 60-day program. The qualities, the strength, whatever those feelings are, whatever Beachbody coaching has given you, share it with people, because that's what they're going to connect with. They're going to connect with those feelings of hope, those feelings of inspiration, and and that's going to create a change in their life. And that's what we do as coaches, a permanent change, not just a weight loss of 10 pounds or a couple pounds for 21 days. We are their coaches for life, the ups and the downs and the goods and the bads. So I think that I covered all my notes. I hope to see some of you guys in your, oh, my connection is weak. I hope that you share a little bit about yourself this week, and I'd love it if you tag me in the post because I want to comment on it. I know I might not know all of you guys, but if you're inspired to share something deeper than just the physical transformation, which I still know is hard. It took me a long time to do that, but I challenge you to share a little bit more of your story because you're going to connect with a lot more people. So have a happy Monday. Hope this has been motivating. Love you guys. Jenny, thank you for pushing me outside my comfort zone once again. It has been really important for me in my coaching journey and just my personal growth. So have a great day, everyone.